This is how you put a new belt into a Gladia or AS68 track. So once you have your track broken down, it's going to look something like this. And you take the belt out of it. These are all the pieces that you should have. You should have 4 of these white plastic clips with little teeth. If it's a center draw, you'd have 2 master carriers. And you're going to have your pinch pleat or ripple fold carriers. Tools needed to do this. You're going to need a Phillips head, a flat head, and usually a tape measure. I usually have a little razor knife. So to start, once you get everything out of the actual track, if you have a splice track, you're going to see, if it's a real long track, you'll have splicers in the back there. For one-way draws, you really don't have to worry about that. But on center draws, if it's two pieces split with one splicer, the splice is usually directly in the center. But if it's not a splice track, what you're going to want to do is take the overall measurement of the track while these end caps are on to figure out where the middle is. So you take the overall width, and then I usually just make a mark right in the middle. So to get started, you can pop these end caps off. Take your new belt, and the teeth are going to face in towards each other. I grab one of these little clips, and then from the bottom, put it on the one end of the belt so it's flush. Grab, and there's 2 different types of carriers. You're either going to have these, which were from Somfy, or these, which came with the AS68, but you can use either or. But for this take, we'll use these. You take the key out. I grab just one side of the carrier and put that in like that. And then from there, you just start running the belt down into a channel. You want to make sure that it runs, flat in there. Come out the other side. Take this off. Thread it through the end cap, so it comes out. So it's going all the way in. Put your little tooth back on. In this one, you can actually clip on. The other 3 you're going to want to wait, but you can clip this on. Okay. You're going to put this piece back on and run it back down through the other side, pushing this end cap all the way on. So you're going to come out through this other side, and you're going to bring part of this carrier so it's flush with the track. Now you may have, extra belt hanging out, but you're going to want to cut it so that there's 22 teeth hanging out of the end while this is flush. So 22 teeth, 1, 2, 3, all the way to 22. Sometimes you need to cut off the 22nd tooth so it's only 21 teeth. It just depends. You have to test it out, and you'll see here in a little bit what I mean. So once you have this cut, just bring this back a little bit. You're going to thread this end cap through the belt, and then you're going to put on another one of these little plastic clips again, so the teeth fit in there. But don't clip this end on. Leave that off for now. We're going to grab the other side to this and put that on and thread that through. So if you have a one-way track, that's basically it. If you have a one-way, it should move and operate smoothly the whole way. From there, you'd finish putting the key in and then putting your overlap carrier on. You'd put the carriers in the track, and then you'd screw this back on so that the carriers have a stopping point. And it just gets thread down in there and then houses right in there. But for these purposes, we'll continue to go on as if it's a center draw track, meaning you have 2 panels that open and close in the center. So with the line we marked, you're going to bring And again, this should move very smoothly. That's if it's having trouble moving, if it's getting hung up, or if it's hard, that means that you need to cut one tooth off so that it becomes 21 teeth, and then that should loosen it up. So you're going to bring it to the center point. This is where it kind of gets tricky. So you're going to bring, the lead, that lead edge right to this center point there. And then from there, I usually have, a paper clip or something, and maybe a little bit of paint or marker, so that I can make, I already pre-made a mark in there, but just make a mark on the actual belt at this center line. And you want to make it so that when you pull the belt, you want the mark to go that way. So yeah, once you have that mark, you're going to pull this back out. Take this end cap back off, and again, that's why you don't want to put the actual locking clip on. Take this back off, and I usually stick like a razor knife or something in the end, just so that the belt doesn't get all tangled up. Bring that down to there. It should actually, and then we're going to pull this end cap off, and you should be able to see your mark. So that was my lead mark right there that I made with a pen. And that lead mark, that's where you're going to take another clip, put that right on there. So it's right on the lead mark. You're going to take the other clip, space it one tooth apart. So there's one tooth in between these two. And then from there, I usually again leave these off until the very end, so don't lock them. From there, you're going to take your other carrier. You can leave the key in that, and then that's going to go, that fits, you see the two notches, that should just fit perfectly in there. And then that is going to go into the channel. Push your end cap back on. Come back down here. Thread your end cap back on. Put this on. Again, don't lock it yet, just to make sure. Bring these together. Okay, so now you see they should come together. You should be able to move it with one hand, and they should meet right in the middle where your line is, right there. And then from there, you basically you put the key in. Well, you have to take them back out, and you'd want to, put your locks on the bottom clips. But sometimes if your mark's off and it doesn't meet in the center, you got to take all this off and try to remark it again. And it's just easier when you don't lock them. So put your key back in. From there, you'd screw on your overlap carriers, which usually come with either that or it would be this style again. So screw those on. You finish putting your carriers on both sides. You finish putting these on. And these just keep the carriers from going into the end cap. And from there, you should be good to go. Ready for reinstallation. Thanks.